This adorable child is Lachele Nance, precocious, whip-smart, with a photographic memory.
She had a great mind. She could remember anything if she saw someone. If she saw them again, she knew who they were. She knew them by their name.
Beloved not just by her mom, but her godmother too.
Whatever she needed, I was there. Whatever she wanted from me, I had to give her.
Michelle and Lisa are best friends. With their kids, they form a tight-knit family in Lake Worth, Florida. And in the spring of 2004, that family would grow. His name is Milagro Cunningham, a teenager from the Bahamas, shuffled from home to home. Lisa takes pity on Milagro and invites him into her house with open arms.
We treated him just like he was family. It's our nature.
We did bring him some clothes and shoes that we had from my boyfriend that he wasn't using anymore because he really didn't have anything.
Milagro soon blends right in.
He was a regular kid. He played games on the TV, played with the other kids, went out with them.
No one knew there was a monster hiding within. It's a typical Saturday night for Lachele, a sleepover at her godmother's. Lachele shares a bed with Lisa's 1-year-old grandson. The house is quiet until just after midnight, when a new day of terror begins.
About 1 o'clock that morning, my middle daughter, Danielle, came in and she told me that she didn't see Lachele.
They search the house. Lachele's shoes sit neatly by the front door, but no Lachele. Lisa calls the little girl's mom in a panic.
She initially asked me, did I pick her up? And I told her no. She said, well, we can't find her. And I told her I'm on my way.
Lachele is nowhere to be found. Police arrive to assist. That's when Milagro tells Lisa and Michelle an incredible story. He was awakened by a white man abducting Lachele from her bedroom.
And he's telling us this story about how he was in the living room and someone burst inside my house and they had taken her out of the house. Something just wasn't right.
He described a car, station wagon with a dent in it, which was exactly the car that was parked in the driveway. And he said some guys took her and he tried to chase them. He ran almost maybe 8 blocks behind the car. It just didn't make sense.
In his statement to police, Milagro says when he catches up to the station wagon, the white man jumps him. 3 other white males joined in the attack, he tells officers, knocking him to the ground, kicking and punching him in a beatdown that lasted approximately 20 minutes. The story is far-fetched. Investigator Mike Driscoll says he wasn't buying it.
He may have had a torn shirt, but he hadn't really sustained any injuries from the beating.
So this guy says he was beat up by up
Yes.
to 4 individuals, and yet he had no physical markings showing that?
Correct.
So right there, it's a red flag.
It's a big red flag.
One thing police are sure of, Lachele is missing.
There were dozens of law enforcement personnel that searched the area for Lachele.
Officers canvassed the neighborhood, searching parks, a local cemetery, every square foot around Lisa's house, including this landfill, just blocks from where Lachele was taken.
It's just an area where a lot of bad things tend to happen sometimes. If she was going to be somewhere, it was probably going to be in the landfill.
Sergeant Michael Hall and his partner scanned the landfill's access road, unsure of what they'd find.
As we start driving through the access road, one of the first things we see is a pair of underwear laying on the road. A couple feet away from that, I believe it was a pair of shorts. And at that point, I think we both realized that she's going to be in here somewhere.
To the right of the road, 2 large construction dumpsters.
Inside the dumpster was just a lone recycling bin on wheels. I kind of opened the lid and observed large pieces of broken concrete in the bin.
Stuffed beneath the concrete, a heartbreaking sight.
And as I'm looking closer into the bin, I see a hand and a foot.
It's Lachele. The sergeant's heart sinks.
I then get on the radio. I notify the command post that in fact we found her. It did not look good. I did not think she was alive.
At Lisa's house, the family gets awful news. that Lachele's body had been found.
He put her head first so she wouldn't be able to get out. And he put concrete on top of her. And he left her. He left her there to die.
First reaction was I passed out. I couldn't face, be right there and knowing that I let this happen,
And we got word that the dead body was found in the Lake Worth landfill. So we immediately responded to that location.
As officers secure the crime scene, the story takes a shocking twist.
It was faint, but it was something you just wouldn't miss.
Lachele Nance has gone missing in the dead of night, her mother losing hope by the minute.
Where's my child? What happened to her?
The young man who lived with Lachele's godmother says he was beaten up by the little girl's abductors when he tried to save her.
Did you believe Milagro's story?
At first, we did, but then there were holes in it. Something just wasn't right.
8 hours later, the story takes a terrifying turn.
Police found 8-year-old Lachele Nance here at this landfill. She was stuffed in a recycling bin. She was thrown in a dumpster like trash. Her little body was buried under 200 pounds of concrete.
She was upside down in a fetal position. Chunks of concrete on top of her. I mean heavy chunks, like some of them weighed as much as 30 pounds.
Officers begin the grim task of recovering Lachele's body, but nothing prepares them for what happens next.
When we looked in, Lieutenant Matthews said, "I just saw her finger move." So instantly, we jumped into the dumpster and began removing large chunks of concrete off of her.
How close was she to death?
I heard the doctor said she was within 10 to 20 minutes of all her internal organs shutting down.
10 to 20 minutes?
10 to 20 minutes. Amazing.
Lachele barely clings to life, but the weakened 8-year-old still gathers the strength to whisper the name of the man who tried to kill her.
It was Milagro. He did it. He did it.
This is Lachele Nance today, 12 years older, and after a long physical rehabilitation, back on her feet. She's finally able to tell her whole terrifying story publicly for the first time. We want to warn you, it's graphic and disturbing.
So I know this is going to be really difficult for you because no one, let alone an 8-year-old girl, should go through what you went through. But if you can take me back to that early morning when you were in bed.
I remember waking up to like someone touching me. So I woke up and then it was Milagro.
Milagro Cunningham, the same guy Lachele's family took in off the streets, now concocts a story to lure Lachele outside where evil awaits.
So I get up and I had on no shoes, I just had on the clothes I slept in.
As soon as Lachele is out of the house, Milagro attacks.
And that's when he grabbed me and shut the door and he was saying, if you scream, I'm gonna hurt you. Or, if you scream, I'm gonna hurt you. And he was like he walked me over to the landfill.
There, a few blocks from the house, Lachele says the real nightmare begins. Milagro slams her to the ground, punching her senseless, then viciously rapes her.
I remember screaming, fighting, but it was I was so little, so it got to the point where I kind of lost hope because I thought, no one can hear me. Oh no, I just stopped crying, just stopped moving. I just laid there because, I didn't think no one would hear me, so I didn't, sorry. And that's when he grabbed me and started choking me.
Lachele is no match for Milagro's brute strength, so she takes a gamble and plays dead.
When he's choking me, I don't know how I got the idea to fake my death. So I just when he threw me down on the ground the last time, I just held my breath And when he called out to me, like, I just didn't make any movement. I just laid there with my eyes closed.
Then, Lachele says, Milagro tries to permanently cover up his crime.
And then he finally grabbed me, threw me over his shoulder. And he walked further down. We got to, like, I guess one of the dumpsters, and he threw me inside the dumpster, then he closed it. And I remember him rolling the dumpster, and I guess that's when he got near the rocks. So he put the cement, you know, on top of me, and it was like, I didn't really understand it, like, at first, but as I got older, it's just, like, how such a, you know, evil person he was, because, like, as he was throwing the rocks on top of me, he was saying, sorry, sorry, and laughing after each rock, like, sorry, and just laughing and throwing them on top of me. I don't know, I really thought I was gonna, like, die. I really thought I was gonna die.
Trapped under cement close to 4 times her weight, the little 8-year-old girl can't move. All she can do is lay there for 8 agonizing hours. Then, just as she feels her life slipping away, Lachele hears faint voices.
I kind of thought it was a dream. I just remember the officers pulling the rocks off me. And I think one was crying. I'm not really sure which one it was, but one of them was crying. I remember that.
4 years after he brutalized Lachele, Milagro Cunningham goes on trial. And Lachele's mom is there to make sure he pays, one way or another, for what he did to her daughter.
I wanted to hurt him. I wanted to hurt him. He's sitting there, he's got this smile on his face, this smirk, and you just want to get up and beat the hell out of him. But you know they're not gonna let you. It was very difficult, very.
Milagro's lawyers claim he has the mentality of a 7-year-old and didn't know right from wrong.
He knew. I knew if you take the time to put rock after rock after rock, it's almost 200 pounds of concrete on top of her.
Jurors agree and reject his insanity defense. In 2009, he's sentenced to 4 life terms in prison. But just a year later, the U.S. Supreme Court gives Milagro the mercy he never showed Lachele. A 2010 ruling throws out life terms for juveniles for crimes other than murder. At the time of Milagro's vicious attack, he was 17, 10 months shy of being an adult.
You mean to tell me you don't have the mental capacity to know right from wrong? I think it is a horrible decision. I think he should spend the rest of his life in jail.
Milagro's public defender asked the judge to reduce the sentence further, citing his serious heart and kidney problems. Lachele decides enough is enough.
Listening to them like make excuses like for what he did, like kind of like got me mad. So I was like, I just have to like just stand up for myself because like what he did was not right.
She testifies at Milagro's hearing, bringing the fight to him.
You took my childhood. You took my life.
What was it like to see him at the resentencing hearing? Any signs of remorse?
No, like none. He just sat there like he just here because he had to show up.
Judge Charles Burton ultimately reduces Milagro's sentence to 50 years, which may turn out to be a life sentence after all.
He's on dialysis. He had to have a pacemaker put in. He was 27 years old. It's karma. That's karma.
There is a possibility he could get out someday. That possibility exists, but I feel confident that he'll probably die in prison.
As for Lachele, she's now taking her recovery many steps further, starting a nonprofit called Many Girls Like Us to help other victims of assault.
With a lot of girls, like a lot of them have my phone number, like, you know, texting them, talking to them when they're going through like, you know, hard times. Like a lot of kids like didn't open up to anybody, and just to like know that they feel comfortable enough to confide in me, it's like, it's really good.